Hello, and welcome to another video presentation courtesy of the University of North Texas Physics Department with the assistance of the Physics Demo Room. My name is Corey Nook, and I'll be helping assist with this demonstration today. Today's concept is going to be talking about one-dimensional motion. So with one-dimensional motion, we have two different kinematic equations we'll be looking at out of the standard four kinematic equations. The first kinematic equation we'll be dealing with has to deal with position in regards to velocity, acceleration, and time. So if you see on the board here, I've written that the final position is equal to the initial position plus the initial velocity times time plus 1/2 times the acceleration of that object times the time squared. So in this instance, we are moving in a horizontal direction. With this horizontal direction, we are no longer feeling the acceleration due to gravity. So if I was able to move this cart that you see before you on this track, and I was to just give it and able to move it that way it's not accelerating, then my equation would be simplified, because if I no longer have my acceleration term, as you see here, then the final position will just equal the initial position plus the initial velocity times time. Well, if our only variable is the time, because at different instances later is how we'll see the position change, because the initial velocity doesn't change with respect to time. It is just the moment the timer starts. So if the initial velocity doesn't change and the initial position doesn't change, our only two variables then with this equation is the time, which is our dependent variable, or independent variable, sorry, and our position, which is the dependent variable. So you can think of that time is almost like our x and our position is like our y when you think of the function y equals mx plus b. So with this, if I was to push this cart, we should just see that this graph, if we were able to look at the time with respect to position, should just look like a straight line on the board, whereas x is on the vertical axis and time is on the horizontal axis, as you see on the board. Now, the second equation, as you kind of can see, that we're going to talk about here has to deal with the velocity, the acceleration, and the time. So now with the velocity, we have that the final velocity is equal to the initial velocity plus the acceleration of the object times time. So if again we remove acceleration and we are only going in one-dimensional motion, then the acceleration being 0 means that the final velocity equals the initial velocity. Well, if any point later you are equaling to the same point, you aren't changing at all. It means that that's what we have by definition of acceleration. Acceleration is the change in velocity over the change in time. So if acceleration is 0, that means the velocity will not change. And if we look at a graph of velocity versus time, where velocity is on the vertical and time is on the horizontal, our graph should look exactly like a straight line. So now if I was to take this cart and then just push it and use this black box in the front, which is just going to be a sensor that allows us to see where objects are, and we'll have the light come back to it and be able to record its position, velocity, and acceleration. I'll show you in a little bit on the computer of what those graphs look like. So this is going to be our actual data collection of one-dimensional motion using a flat track, our Go Motion Pro, which is just going to be a sensor, a motion sensor, and our little cart here. And again, we're going to be using Data Studio in order to get all of our data that we are going to collect. And in this case, we are still going to look at the acceleration, the velocity, and position. Remember, we should see that the acceleration should be 0. And that we have our velocity and position should have a linear line here and a constant line for our velocity, and we can also see our data recorded there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start collecting our data. Now you can hear that little click. That just means that the motion sensor is going. And it goes there and it stops. So now I'm going to stop our data. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at only a segment of our data. There we go. So as you can see here, that the overall position is going up, up, up steadily, and our velocity is overall behaving very close to a flat line, and our acceleration is near zero. Well, we now looked at only one-dimensional motion, where this was just plain flat. But now, let's say we can look at one-dimensional motion to where now our track is at an angle. So that means if we only look at the motion along the track, we'll actually see some component of the vertical acceleration due to gravity affecting our cart. So instead of the acceleration being zero in this situation, our cart should accelerate. And now we're going to look at how does that change our two kinematic equations that we typically look at. So now, if we go from our acceleration to position in that idea, then if I was to say, okay, in this situation, if the acceleration is constant, it might not be a value of g, but it's going to be some value that is constant, then if it's not changing, like what we talked about previously with the velocity, if it's not changing, we should just get a flat line on the graph of acceleration versus time. Remember where acceleration is going to be on the vertical and time is on the horizontal. Now, whether or not this is positive or negative will depend on how we set up our coordinate system. In this case, with using our little Go Motion Pro, I believe our acceleration will actually be negative because we'll be starting off at a positive position, it'll go up, and it'll come back down in terms of the motion of the cart. So the acceleration is always negative because the object will be changing. And it's also due to the acceleration due to gravity, in most cases being determined negative because downward is usually determined as negative. So if we have the acceleration as constant, now if we go back to our second equation here on the board, where the velocity final equals the velocity initial plus the acceleration times time, acceleration is now a constant variable, or a constant value, not variable. So now if acceleration is constant, we now have this thing of where we have some value that is being dependent on another one is equal to a constant plus some slope times a variable. This almost looks like the equation y equals mx plus b. So our slope for this should be a line. But now if I was to start the cart initially by the detector and give it some push, which would be some positive velocity initially, it's going to go up, but the acceleration is always negative. I should start with some positive value, and after a while, this should reach a zero velocity and turn back and is going now towards the detector. And that graph, if we actually look at it here on the board, remember with velocity being on the vertical axis, time being on the horizontal axis, we start with some initial velocity being positive. We continue down at a negative slope until we hit zero, and we continue further. Now, how do we interpret this to go into the x position? We go back to our initial equation, where we have x final equals x initial plus the velocity initial of the object times time plus 1/2 of the acceleration times time squared. So if time is our variable, we have a variable to the second power plus a variable to the first power plus a constant that has no time dependence at all has to equal our final position. Well, this looks like a quadratic formula or a quadratic equation. So we have y equals c plus b times x plus 1 plus a times the variable squared. So if we were to look at that graph, if we start with the x equals 0 position, that's going to go up to some maximum distance away and come back to the initial position, just as what we see here on this graph, that we have x on the vertical axis and t on the horizontal axis, and it is a parabola. It's going to get to some maximum height, and then it's going to come back to the same position. Now, the reason why this doesn't go negative is because we have our photogate sensor here, and it's not going to go any more negative than where it already started. But that's different than the velocity, because remember, velocity is still a vector. The initial velocity was up the track, but the final velocity is going to be down the track, which is why we have a sign flip. But the initial velocity we start at and the final velocity should be the same, because all it's doing is that parabolic arc and coming back. It should have that same speed, only it's just going to be a different direction. This is why it's important to know your difference of vectors. So as you can see here, as we set up for our inclined one-dimensional motion study, we are using our Go Motion Pro. We are using our cart. This is set at some angle, that way we are no longer on a flat plane. And we are using vernier caliber Data Studio. So now with this, as you can see, we have our time on our x-axis, and we have the acceleration, velocity, and position, and we are creating a data table that has all of those values associated with that as well. Remember that the position, velocity, acceleration will all be in SI units, or meters, kilograms, seconds. And what we're going to do now is we're going to set up our experiment. And we're going to start the timer. And now go to our data and actually go to our experiment, and we're going to make sure everything's going okay. So we're going to look and get rid of the first little bit. I'm now going to push this up. See, it goes forwards and it stops. And now we're going to stop the data. And we're now going to take a look at it. So as you can kind of see, we have a couple of extreme cases. And now we're going to just look at this little section here. As you can see, is that with our little sections, and I'm going to see if I can get that as well. As you can see, other than the extreme ends right here, this is where I started and stopped the experiment, that our overall x versus y position, or x versus time, we have a parabolic arc, and we start from a positive velocity, and we go down to a negative velocity. And our acceleration, if you look carefully, is always negative. It's a constant flat line, and we can see that from our data there. So this is a way to determine and graphically see, yes, I'm not just making this up, we are following the kinematic equations, and we can visually see it. Now you might be saying, well, there's this little peak here and little peak there. Well, this is where it takes for a little bit of that account of pushing the cart and for me catching it at the end. This is also a reason why we get these big spikes in the acceleration, is because this is where we can see the force that's being pushed or that's being acted on the cart. Now, after looking at these two different variations for our position and using one-dimensional dynamics, we hopefully now have a better understanding of not only being able to visualize where the objects are going, but also looking at how the objects are moving with respect to time, not only in terms of its position, but its velocity and acceleration, both when this is at a level playing ground and when the acceleration is actually non-zero by lifting up this track. Well, thank you for watching this video presentation, and have a wonderful day.